One. And whatever I did, it did mess up the screen. Hold on real quick.
Technical difficulties, you know?
Oh, yeah. There we are. Okay. Hello. Welcome back to the Dear Video Games Podcast on the Soul Dojo, where this is our open letter to our favorite hobby. My name is Curtis Russell, and I write about games, talk about games, videos, video stuff, and things like that. And of course, I am joined with. I haven't done this in a minute. Okay, I haven't done this in a minute. It's been a second. I usually, leading up to like the first couple of episodes of Dear Video Games, I was practicing in the mirror, and then I just lost it there for a second. But I am joined by Bay Area rapper Voltaire Slapadelic. How are you doing, my man?
Oh, that's me. Oh, I'm doing good. Doing well. It's nice to be doing the podcast again, I like that we've been doing it every at least trying to do every couple of weeks lately. We're on a good roll with it. It's always nice. It's always a good feeling.
Yeah, consistency with the podcast is very important, and we've been trying to stay up with that. We did take a bit of a holiday break because this is our first episode of 2023, and hopefully, we just stay a little consistent bi-weekly, things like that. But of course, we have lives. We're not just in front of the podcast webcam here and just doing this nonstop. But yeah. So Voltaire, we
did try to do one live stream earlier this year, but it seemed that Mother Nature had other plans for it.
Oh, that is true. That is true. I actually forgot about the reasoning there. Yeah.
I was sitting near candles and shit.
I completely forgot about it. It's good to see that you're safe, though. It's good to see.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, it's times like that you really count your blessings. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. So you have a new position here at the Soul Dojo that I would like to talk about just for a little bit because
President and CEO.
Yeah, President and CEO. I passed it right over to you because I'm just tired of it at this point. No, yeah, man, you are now a content creator here at the Soul Dojo.
Yep.
And
excited.
Yeah, man, and we got you did your first video that is on Cult of the Lamb that's going to be out on Friday. And yep. I edited that video. I'm really excited for people to see that because I think it's a different voice. It's a different voice besides me, of course. And it's definitely a good take on Cult of the Lamb.
Well, thank you for that. And I think, you're right that it is good to have, as much as I like watching your videos and stuff, it's just, you don't want to have, a whole channel like this just running it, one person, you're gonna get overwhelmed at some point, or in some way or another. It's either you or the channel is gonna suffer at some point from that, I feel.
Yeah, totally. The channel has been doing very well in terms of like views recently, so I was like, I need to start
noticing that too.
Yeah, I need to do something to kind of to just kind of keep it going and change things up for 2023. So definitely adding you to the mix, and people can see your face. That was some people don't do that when they first start off on YouTube talking about video games. They don't put their face on camera. They don't just start talking about games immediately. They probably, oversell it. They just kind of mess up in that aspect. But you were just straight on, hey, I'm gonna put my face in here.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about. I was
gonna say, I'm very vain. And I want to look at myself.
It was a really, really good video. So one of the main reasons why we had Voltaire come on is because I want to push this channel to get to that 1K mark, that 1,000 subscriber mark, because I feel like I've been doing this on the Soul Dojo long enough that it's like I need to the channel needs to grow a little bit more. And of course, I've been doing things on the side and stuff like that, but it's time to get the Soul Dojo to that mark. So I've been making different moves and things like that. If you guys don't know, or you don't follow us on Twitter at the Soul Dojo, we have 4 people that's working on a team. We have a freelance content creator. We have a backend manager who's Jay, who you guys saw recently, or not recently, but who you guys know from this channel. And then we have Voltaire Slapadelic. So I do appreciate him coming through and making it happen. Man, what have we been playing over this long stretch of period that we haven't been on the Dear Video Games podcast.
Well, obviously, Cult of the Lamb.
Hmm.
Like it was funny because when you hit me up and were like, "Hey, do you want to join and do some like video game reviews and first impressions types of videos and stuff?" I was just like, "Yeah, Cult of the Lamb. Okay, sure, yeah, I'll do a video on Cult of the Lamb." I just assumed that would be, But um, I've also been playing. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Violet still, off and on. Still really enjoying that game,
Yeah.
and actually just started a new file in Breath of the Wild to see if I can just get through most of it again before the new one comes out.
I think I restart Breath of the Wild more times than I really should. I actually restarted it recently. I haven't jumped back into it because I've been kind of playing all type of games because I felt like, and I kind of alluded to this a little bit when I did the Sonic Frontiers video. Is God of War just had me by the shackle. It was like I want to play other games, but I want to finish this one before.
You want to see what happens next.
Yeah. I want to finish this one and see where it goes before I just start playing other games. So for a little bit of time there, I was just shackled up to God of War. But yeah. How's Pokemon going? Because we did talk about that during the Christmas time.
Honestly, I'm really enjoying it. Like, there's like with any game, there's a few little nitpicks about some of the design choices that I don't quite understand. I feel like it sort of funnels you to do, because the way the game is structured, it is very open world, and it says outright you don't have and do like the this game's equivalent of like the Team Rocket like hideouts and stuff first if you want. And like but it sort of funnels you through the gym leaders because it only goes up the level of Pokemon that'll listen to you only goes up by like 5 levels each new badge, which I thought was a little strange for a game like this. But that's more of like just a nitpick than anything else. And in terms of like all the bugs that people are talking about, again, I've seen a couple, but nothing game breaking, nothing I've had to turn the game off for. Like it's just some funny stuff here and there. Like I was battling a Pokemon last night, and it was just completely in a wall. Like you just couldn't see it in the battle. And every once in a while, its little face would pop out of the wall. But I mean, that kind of stuff doesn't bother me too bad. I can see if people are like, I understand the criticism of their $1 billion company and probably should have it more polished than that. But just on a second by second gameplay level, it doesn't really bother me.
It probably sucks because this is the besides Arceus, this is the first fully fledged Pokemon game that's on a home console, and
definitely the first main series one, right?
Series one. That's right.
Sword and Shield, I think.
Oh, Sword and Shield. I'm living somewhere else.
I forgot about them too.
Oh, maybe I meant to say more of like in this particular open world style. With the element of like you can kind of do the badges in any way that you want, and I guess they just wanted more.
I get that, because it's another thing that I think a lot of recent games that sort of jumped into open world recently, like where inevitably people are like, oh, so it's the Breath of the Wild of this series, and it's like, whoa, wait, whoa. We take some influence from Breath of the Wild, but it's not going to be the Breath of the Wild of Pokemon or Sonic or whatever. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's really trying to get you to make those comparisons than anything else. When you see like the Sonic Frontiers commercial and it does the and it's like, that's just the song from Breath of the Wild. And like
I think I said that on the first impressions of Sonic Frontiers, is I was like, it's funny how this first biome is like nothing but it's this soft piano that's playing and it's lonely and it's just Sonic running around. I'm like, this is Breath of the Wild vibes. And I think I said this like a couple podcasts ago that Breath of the Wild is the new Skyrim. Like everybody's just kind of comparing it.
Everybody
to
wants
everything.
to be that. Yeah, I would say Breath of the Wild and to some extent, Death Stranding have noticeably changed the way people are making open world games. Like already in just the relatively few years since those two games came out. Like it's stuff that I really have like. It's now every open world game has climbing, and every open world game has some kind of like parasol, paraglider sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And it's like, it's like I get it. Breath of the Wild copied some of the open world tropes that came before it, even though it did do a lot of original stuff. It still had the like towers and all that kind of things that like
Right.
Ubisoft started and everything.
Right.
But now it's like, oh well, yeah. Why? Oh, I'm sure it's just a coincidence that your open world game has hang gliders and a bunch of mini underground dungeons and wild horses to tame. I'm sure there's just. I'm sure you just independently thought of that 5 years after Breath of the Wild came out.
I completely agree with you, especially when you were alluding to the Ubisoft comparison with the towers and stuff, because that particular the funny thing is that's what developers are trying to move away from now a little bit, is like the whole tower system, and that's how you unlock
Yeah,
multiple
yeah.
areas, or how you get to see multiple areas.
I think it works just fine as a device,
Mm,
but like I could see if I was just like I took a few years kind of off of playing video games between like the like up on all the new stuff coming out between those years,
mm-hmm.
and so I was kind of getting back into video games with stuff like Breath of the Wild and stuff like that. But so I can understand that if you've just been playing like Far Cry's and Watchdog games for 10 years, you know what I mean? You could be like, "Ugh, I don't want to look at a tower in a game." You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
It's like I don't even want to see a game set in New York because there's going to be tall buildings. I just I don't want to look at it, you know?
Yeah, the Ubisoft structure was definitely there for about 5-6 years, and it just went from game to game to game. And the
Hmm.
funny thing, it was perfected in Far Cry 3, because Far Cry 3 I think is actually one of the best games created for that particular genre.
Yeah.
That's a great game. It's a great story. I think the whole Ubisoft formula was perfected in there, in that game, and yeah, everything you're saying, I completely agree. Sonic Frontiers just takes that open worldness, it takes that loneliness, it takes that some familiarity with like the soundtrack and stuff, especially in the first area where it's like the soft piano, the raining,
Hmm.
and it's like it just takes that similar approach. It takes that similar approach to open world gaming. And the funny thing is, this is probably one of the best Sonic games you'll play in the last 6-7 years. That's the funny thing about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like what Nintendo did with Legend of Zelda. It's like you did it right, and now other games are copying it, and it's working for so many different
Yeah.
franchises. It's crazy what Nintendo has
Hmm.
done with that game and the
Yeah.
influence it has on other games.
And I think that's what it's so I'm so fascinated to see how Nintendo themselves build upon it. When the new one comes out, what is it like
Hmm
2 months from now? I
It,
guess now,
it's
right?
literal. It doesn't even
It-
feel like it's 2 months away,
It's
but it's
crazy,
literally
right?
a few months
Was it
away.
March or May? It was March, right?
It could have. I might have to fact check you, but it could be April. Um, it's called
My brain.
Tears of the Kingdom, right?
Yes, because like kind of all the pressure is sort of on them because they started all these new
It's
sort of
coming
like
out. It's coming
trends.
out in May.
May, okay, yeah, so just a few months, and like, yeah, like I think there's going to be a lot of like, inevitably it's going to get compared to the first Breath of the Wild, to the
Yeah.
last game, but also I think it's going to be like, well, does it just sort of repeat what the last game did, or does it push the envelope in the way
hmm
that Breath of the Wild did?
hmm
Is this going to set a bunch of new trends, or is this going to sort of follow the trends that the last one set, or that the other games like Death Stranding have sort of added on to since it came out?
Right. Yeah. Is it gonna be kind of like well, you know my opinion on God of War. It's just more of the 2018 God of War. Is it gonna be
Mm-hmm.
more of
Which
Breath of the
worked just fine.
Wild? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which is
I
absolutely
think
great.
I would be fine with that,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah, and it seems like they're at least trying some, new stuff, even if it's not revolutionary. It looks like it's going to be cool and different. You know what I mean? Like
hmm
the up in the sky and everything like that.
I
So
think that will be enough to make it an even better, maybe not an even better game, but it will be enough difference there to like really
not
bring.
just feel like a rehash.
Yeah, exactly. To not just feel
Yeah.
like, oh, they're just using their own formula to create another game, which in turns would kind of make it really like like cash cow like, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not that. I think there's more story to this Breath of the Wild story, and I think that
Could
it's
you
gonna be a lot.
imagine Nintendo being like, the next Legend of Zelda game is going to be a massively on multiplayer live service game with it's powered by the blockchain.
Yeah, I would. I can't see that.
No.
I can't see that. That would suck. But yeah, no, I can't. No. Actually seeing Tears of the Kingdom, and people forget about the first time we saw Tears of the Kingdom is it was that really we were getting like Majora's Mask vibes with the
And it was showing
trailer.
like a lot of underground caves and stuff. And
Yeah,
then the later trailers focused on the sort of um Skyward Sword type of stuff.
right.
But like you said, yeah, the original one looked like they were really going in like a darker, kind of like the Majora's Mask was Ocarina of Time.
Right, exactly. And I kind of hope they still stick with that kind of theme because I think that would be very interesting. Like you wake up this ancient Ganon. But also I feel like they're gonna do both. They're gonna do like maybe this sky theme, maybe like a Skyward Sword maybe kind of thing, and then you have this like underground ruins of like Hyrule where, you know, some of the warriors that were in it are gone and stuff like that and dead and all that stuff. I
And
think
the
it's gonna be
concept of
great.
that is, I think, really interesting. To me, that's really cool. Like, and something that like they've sort of done bits and pieces of throughout different Zelda games,
Mm,
but like the idea of like an area in the sky, and then in like the regular Hyrule, that just seems like it's going to be some kind of like reuse of the original map, and then like the underneath that, which I think is really cool. I think that's like a really cool way to build upon the map you already have and make it
right.
essentially 3 times bigger, threefold,
I think that's going to be a really good idea. I think that what you're saying right there is a really good idea. We didn't actually didn't. I probably should have put Tears of the Kingdom in here because I guess we really haven't talked about what we expect from that game much. But yeah, it comes out May 12th, or May 17th. One of them. You're gonna have to fact check me again. But yeah, comes out in May.
It comes out
Release.
on a day, I'm
It comes
sure.
out on a day in May. It's
Yeah.
gonna be May.
Exactly.
uh, so real quick, we're gonna talk about the month of love. We love video games, so you know it's the perfect month for a lot of video game releases. And let's talk about February gaming in February. Let's start off with Life is Strange 2 is coming out on Switch on February 2nd. Have you dabbled in any of those Life is Strange games?
One. And me and my wife played it together. It was like our show, basically, for
Mm-hmm.
the week or so that it took us to finish, the week or two that it took us to finish it. And um, I thought it was really good. Like I hadn't really. This was like right when I was getting back into video games in like 2017 or whenever the game came out, and like I just thought it was really a cool way to sort of and I know it's not the first game to do this. It was just the first one that I had played. Like to sort of like modernize like the point and click type of games,
Right, right.
in which I'm not a big fan of traditionally, like point and click sort of games. But like I feel like Life is Strange is the first one was probably my favorite example of like a modern version of it, like more so than maybe the Telltale stuff. Like, but I for some reason just haven't played any of the other ones. I believe my wife played the one with the girl that has the like color powers.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same universe? I think it is.
I think
Like,
so. I know they made like a brand new one or something like that. I haven't really kept up with this
yeah,
game. I just know
yeah,
when it first came out, a lot of people liked it because it had that strong storytelling element. Um,
great writing, great acting.
right,
Like,
right.
yeah,
Very,
yeah.
very unique kind of story. And so yeah,
hmm
February 2nd, that'll be out on Switch. I think that'll do really well on Switch actually. Um, how do I talk about this game without being super political? I think we'll dive a little bit more into it in a way. February 10th is Hogwarts Legacy.
Boo,
February
boo, boo,
10th
J.K.
is
Rowling, boo,
um of
boo,
course
J.K. Rowling,
here at the
boo, J.K.
dojo we do
Sorry.
not condone anything that woman has said. I mean, she's very insensitive to a certain group of people.
hmm
Um you
Yeah,
can't
she sucks.
deny that Hogwarts Legacy is probably the biggest game, most popular, one of the most popular games of this year.
Yeah, it's inevitable. She's just inevitable.
Yeah.
There's not a lot you can do. Usually, what I try to do is just make fun of her whenever anyone brings her up in any sort of context. You know,
I think that's the best thing to
like
do because you can't give her if you give her like that time of day, if you give her that attention when she
hmm
says these things, then she
yeah,
wins, you know.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
it
It's
looks
like
good.
it seems. I'm sure it's a well-made game and
Hmm.
everything. I just think that so much that I've read about it is as it's just bizarre. There's so many bizarre choices around not just J.K. Rowling. Even if you ignore her in this whole situation, like just around the design of like um um just the implications behind the like the big hook nose banking goblins and what that she maybe meant by that, you know, and that they're like integral to like the plot of this game. And I'm just like, there's like a lot of there's just bizarre things
Yeah.
surrounding this game. It's weird that it exists, and it's weird everything that I heard about it. I don't think somebody should be quote unquote like canceled or whatever
Yeah.
the rhetoric on the internet would have you believe for playing it. I just think that it it's a lot of baggage that comes with it, and so you know it's you just have to accept that. If some people are going to be like, why are you playing this game if you play it? And you have to understand that that's going to be people's reaction.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are really definitely just like, hey, I don't want to indulge in that. It's good that what I've seen on YouTube and things like that with like discussions and people like that. There's a lot of spaces where people are they have like podcast groups or whatever where people have just kind of been like, hey, like I know my friend doesn't want to play it. I'm playing it. We both exist in this world where you have every right to boycott, whatever you want. I know I'm gonna play it. I don't really agree with anything she has to say. It's gonna be hard to kind of cover the game too, especially if you're independent like myself, because it's like so many people are upset with her comments and how things are going with everything she has to say. But
hmm
I mean, hey, Hogwarts
Well,
Legacy
and
coming out
that's
February
another
18th.
aspect of it that sucks too, is because it's like it makes it difficult to judge the
The
piece on its own
product,
merit. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
It's
right,
like you
right,
can't
right.
look at it like, oh, this is just a piece of art. This is just a video game, you know?
Mm,
Because there's all this like bullshit that comes with it. There's
mm,
like there's the Rawling angle, and then there's like the weird like undertones of the story angle, and then there's like the WB/Discovery Channel angle or whatever who owns Harry
this,
Potter now. And it's just like it's like I don't know. I love video games. It's unfortunate that without that video games are so heavily capitalism these days, you know.
right.
It's just like it's just yeah, it's always one thing after another.
Moving forward, we have we have no. I'm just saying, like
Yeah, no,
we have a
yeah.
long list. Like there is a long list here. Like no bullshit. Um, Returnal comes to PC. It seems like there's more PlayStation games coming to PC. Returnal's a game I don't know. Like I just don't know about Returnal. I didn't think I
Yeah.
was gonna like the game, but a lot of people liked it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those games I can't even remember because I thought that people didn't like it, but then recently when I hear it mentioned, it seems to be in like a good light, so I'm a little
Mm.
confused about that.
A little confused about how good that is because I've actually only heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I guess we gotta just. I guess we'll see when it comes out. No, I'm not gonna see. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna see. Maybe people might mod it and put like Dovahkiin in it from Skyrim. I don't
Yeah, yeah.
know.
Maybe Thomas the Tank Engine, you know.
That'll be great. I'll watch it then. We have a game that I kind of forgot was coming out. I don't know if it's been out before. It's Digimon World Next Order. Um, yeah, this game came out for PlayStation
Digimon.
4 in 2017, but it's hitting
What year is
Switch
it?
and PC. Yeah, it's hitting Switch and PC February 22nd. I played Cyber Sleuth Digimon. That was okay. I know they continued that particular series and they made a few games off that series, but other than that, I don't really know what to expect from this particular game.
Yeah, I mean, Digimon is funny because I remember, like, it's part of me is like, wow, I can't believe Digimon is still around. You know, that takes me back. You know,
Yeah.
like, Like I remember, it dropping on Fox Kids or whatever uh, um, back in grade school, and then like people like, oh, this is just a Pokemon ripoff. But then everyone got hella into it. But
Mm-hmm.
then the last time I played a Digimon game was like I think PS2, like maybe PlayStation 1 even, and it was like this really basic kind of stumbling around sort of RPG that
Mm-hmm.
was really terrible, and I haven't played any Digimon game since then. But I've heard some of them are actually really good. So who knows?
Digimon, there has been some bad RPG Digimon games, so I believe you 100%.
You'd think they would just rip off the Pokemon formula in some way. I mean, they did that in a lot of other ways.
Yeah,
Why not just do it with the game?
I think I wish they would go back to kind of Digimon World, like for the PlayStation, kind of maybe even remake it. It just seems like maybe that's just not the direction that they want to go. So I guess we'll see. We'll see though. Gran Turismo 7 is coming to PlayStation VR 2. I thought that was the newest Gran Turismo there for a second, but it isn't. Yeah, PSVR 2.
Wait, isn't it?
Yeah, no, this isn't the new one. So PSVR 2 comes out in February 22nd,
Yeah,
and the launch titles for it are going to be Gran Turismo 7 and Horizon Call of the Mountain.
I've seen the footage of the
Why I
Horizon.
was so about to say Horizon Call of the Wild. I don't know why I was going to say that.
That's really good.
If you have a PSVR, though, I mean a first person VR Horizon game, I mean that might be kind of cool. I think I've seen
Yeah,
a few videos on that.
I think it's more of a like a arcadey version. Like you're from what I understand, I think you're kind of in a minecart and you're like shooting things as it goes around.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, that also honestly sounds fun. Like, I have a PSVR, like the original one, and a lot of the games just kind of made me real dizzy real quick. And I think it's because the PSVR is just kind of hobbled together from a bunch of other it's just kind of laying about Sony headquarters, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
like they're like, oh, this thing's laying on the ground. We can probably use it. But the new one is like really designed to be like a good VR headset. So like, yeah, if in the near future I can actually afford one, I would be kind of cool to try it out
Yeah,
because it
totally.
looks pretty interesting. Because like, I think VR is really cool. I just think that there's not like a whole lot that's being done with it that is all that great. Like there's a handful of like really cool games, but then there's also like a lot of like garbage games that make you like physically ill to play or look at. And then there's like all the like metaverse bullshit. And so it's like just look at it like a video game console and make fun games for it. Like why is that so hard? Like
Right.
just
It seems like to your point there, it seems like there is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's about 7 games that come day one with this
okay.
particular device. You have there's no way you couldn't even pay me to do this. It's Resident Evil Village, good game,
Yeah,
but I'm
sure. Yeah,
not playing that
do
in
that.
VR.
Yeah.
No, that's no. Tetris, Tetris Effect is coming to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation
Interesting.
VR. Hey, you got to throw Tetris in there, man, because
Yeah,
Tetris
yeah,
is an old favorite.
yeah.
Talking about a legendary game.
They had it on the Virtual Boy, so why not on the
Exactly.
modern VR?
February 22nd. All those games come out on February 22nd. The next following day is Blood Bowl 3. I actually covered this game on Sports Gamers Online. It's a football game, and you know me, I get it. I don't mean soccer. I mean actual football. American football.
Yeah.
Um, but you play as like mutants and zombies and stuff like that, and they
Oh,
like
okay.
kill each other
Yeah.
and things like that. It's a really really cool little game. It's not going to be $60, $70. It's going to be like a little game you can go in there and it's a lot of fun.
Nice. It's
Uh,
similar to like Mutant Football League.
yeah,
Yeah. I've
definitely.
actually played that on Xbox. It's really
Yeah,
fun.
fun games, fun games. When you have these
Yeah, I
smaller
miss
developers
NFL
doing it.
Blitz, and so I look for games that sort of remind me of it.
Yeah, with those arcade-ish football
Mm-hmm.
games, those are really fun. Everybody loves those, man. Um, we have, oh, really? We have Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe. That is coming to Switch. Is that
Which one is Return to Dreamland?
Which one is Return to Dreamland?
Is it the Super Nintendo one? Let me look this up.
No, it's like in. Mm, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know much about that one.
Let's see.
Could be very interesting to get too.
Yes, it's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess all the Kirby games have titles similar to that, so I
Yeah,
guess it's a
yeah,
little confusing.
yeah.
It's the what's the one for the Wii?
It was the one for
That
the Wii.
that's not Epic Yarn. It was 2011.
Got you. Okay,
Yeah,
so it's a
it's weird. I don't remember
remaster.
see that. I don't remember that
Yeah,
at all.
yeah. It's a
I remember the
remaster then.
Yarn one.
Yeah, it's a remaster. It probably comes with like a whole bunch of things. You know, it's the deluxe version, so it probably comes with a whole bunch of stuff. Um, the next game I'm actually very, very excited for. I'm pretty sure you are too, Voltaire. Is Octopath Traveler 2. Wow.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I like knew they were making it, and it just left my whole brain. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I really liked the first one. Um, uh, I I put a bunch. I put like a good amount of hours into it. I don't think I beat like the whole thing, but I mean, you do have to play through it 8 times in order to beat the whole thing. But
Very true. Very true.
yeah, that's a great game. I really
Mhm.
love the art design, and even though some of the writing and voice acting was wonky, it was wonky in a way that was funny. So
Mhm.
it didn't annoy me or anything.
I think this game isn't getting a massive marketing push just because of the kind of, I mean, the game that it is,
Very niche.
they usually don't really market this type of game, but Octopath Traveler is already an amazing series. I mean,
Hmm.
the first game was really good. To your point.
Great for early Switch game too, and like
Mhm.
early-ish Switch game, and now it's on Xbox. Now it's on Game Pass.
Exactly. This one it'll be out for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Switch, and
Interesting.
PC. So it's actually avoiding Xbox at the moment.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's
So
very
interesting.
funny to me. To
Square
your
Enix did
point,
that?
to the voice acting. Yeah, the voice acting I felt like was a little too cringy at some
Yeah,
points of the
there
game.
was. I can't. I'm not gonna be able to remember the names because I'm terrible with names. But it was
Yeah.
one of the characters. It was like it was like someone in like their like dad or like butler or something, and they spoke all. What the writers were and actors were clearly trying to go for like a Shakespearean feel,
Yeah.
but it was just like the worst dialogue I've seen in a while, and it was so funny. And they were trying to be dramatic, and I don't fault the voice actors; they were doing kind of the best they could, I feel. But
Yeah.
there's just it was like Castle. I loved it. So
Yeah. I think this game I'm definitely gonna pick it up day one, and I'm gonna play it, and we'll do some content about it here on the Soul Dojo. But I'm really excited to play it because the turn-based combat's really good. Um,
yeah, a really
the
good.
story overall
Yeah,
is really good, and it's a fairly difficult game. It can get very challenging.
it ramps up, but I feel like it ramps up in a way where it's rare to feel like are you severely under leveled.
Mm-hmm.
You're usually like around the same level as the people you're playing, as the enemies.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's difficult to do something original with turn-based JRPG combat, and I feel like
Yes.
they really nailed it, which I think is why people like that game so much, because it feels like you're playing your Final Fantasy game from the Super Nintendo, but also like something wholly different too.
Exactly. Yeah, this game I haven't really touched much of my Switch.
Sorry, I'm like 8 years old. I try not to giggle at that, but you said I haven't touched it.
I haven't touched that was bad. I'm not even gonna lie. and, I, and the funny thing was like I was like I know what I'm about to say, and I hope it doesn't sound how I think it's about to sound. Wrong console,
Oh
first of
man,
all. Like,
man,
uh,
we are grown adults.
I try not to touch. I haven't touched my Switch in a minute, my Nintendo Switch, and I was hoping to kind of get into Bayonetta and
Mhm.
Splatoon at some point, and
Splatoon's great.
I think Octopath Traveler will be the reason why I jump right into it immediately. Pick it up exactly on February 24th. I'll definitely jump. That'll be the first game I play. Um,
Hmm.
in February on my Switch, definitely. So really excited for that one. Um, and that's for major releases that we can talk about. That's about it, actually. That's about it. Um, so yeah, let us know. I guess if you're on Spotify, head over to the Soul Dojo. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about that list and what games are you guys really excited for. So let's get into some news now. I like to kind of keep the news very light here on the Dear Video Games podcast, where we're supposed to be talking about like actual like video game topics and things like that. I know news topics can be a topic thing, but I wanted to steer away from just like doing like a news report, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, something that has been going around recently is Microsoft has laid off 10,000 employees, and a lot of titles have been affected. A lot of developers have been affected in titles. And Halo in particular, there's been a rumor going around that the Halo series is going to stop any DLC production for the single player and just focus on the multiplayer. And 343 Industries is going to stop making major Halo titles, and smaller titles will be distributed and used amongst smaller developers. So like you'll get more Halo ODST type games. When this first came out, I'm not even gonna lie, I was pacing around my room because I was like, 343 is officially fucked up Halo for the rest of us. If you guys don't know, like kind of the issues with Halo right now, they've been very dry with content. Bringing Halo content to Halo Infinite. It took them over almost a year and a half, almost 2 years. I'd probably say more of a year to bring like co-op to the single player. They've taken so long to bring Forge World over. It's just been a long, drawn out journey with Halo Infinite, and it's just not getting much better. Voltaire, Slapadelic, what is your take kind of on the situation that's going on in Microsoft and Halo?
Yeah, I heard a little bit about it when it started to kind of get traction, maybe like a week or so ago, and I kind of didn't pay too much attention because it wasn't like I figured more stuff would come out. And
Mm-hmm.
it seems pretty dire, like, to be honest. Like, on one hand, I mean, you know, um, if someone's not handling the games very well, then you got to find someone else to do it, I guess. But if what the some of the developers and people who've been laid off are if what they're saying is to be believed, which I think you should at least consider that they might be telling the truth, that they weren't always given such a fair shake. In
Mm-hmm.
that, even if you're like, okay, maybe you shouldn't be working on the mainline Halos, then there are these huge layoffs. It says here, I'm looking at one of the articles that you sent me earlier. It's like uh, they're losing a full third of their employees,
Mm-hmm.
343 specifically, and so I mean, that's pretty severe. That's like, I know I don't think that Halo Infinite single player was bad, and many of the people who worked there are saying that it wasn't necessarily their choice to not follow up with it, and that they, again, a lot of times with these big AAA developers, they're not exactly given a great chance. They're
Mm-hmm.
sort of set up to fail in a way, maybe not by like malicious way, but just because these big companies, they don't really think in terms of like, you know, it's people who are like working because they're like not only making they're making art and they're also doing their jobs. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
And they don't think about it in that sort of way. So I don't know. On one hand, I think it's a good idea to spread around and give different studios chances to make cool Halo games. On the other hand, I think it's a little messed up to put all the blame on 343 and to fire so many people, like especially when they just said Microsoft just said they made like $190 billion in profit last year.
My
You know what I
goodness.
mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you can't afford these 130 employees, but you can afford to buy Activision. Like, come on, that doesn't
And
add
they're
up.
actively fighting for it
Yeah, they
big time
really want
too.
Activision. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you a lot. I think uh, oh, and to come to the conclusion that we got from 343, they did put out a tweet saying that, and I'm going to read it here for you guys right now. I'm going to pop it up right here right now. Halo and Master Chief are here to stay. 343 Industries will continue to develop Halo now and in the future, including epic stories, multiplayer, and more of what makes Halo great. So, some people were in the comments like, did you guys really think they were going to just stop making Halo games? And it's like, you know what? 343, yes. I think there was a little bit there that people thought like, you know what? They would act more as a publisher than a developer. I could see 343 saying, okay, we don't want to deal with this type of IP anymore because it was handed to them by Bungie.
For Bungie, yeah.
And Bungie went to go work on Destiny. That reminds me, Destiny Lightfall is coming out in February too. I actually saw that. I just didn't say anything. I don't know why. And I did think that something weird like this would happen. Yeah. Should they do it? No, it'd be silly to do it. Halo makes you a lot of money. Let's be honest. It sells your consoles. Let's be honest. Why would you do
I
that?
definitely think there's always going to be Halo games. Although I mean, again, this is me being cynical, maybe, but I can't help but think that is a very carefully worded tweet there.
Right.
Including epic stories and multiplayer and the things that make Halo great. They didn't say we're going to be doing mainline single player Halo campaigns. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. Yes.
Sort of, which they could mean that by epic stories, but the cynical part of me thinks they mean epic stories as in like live services and battle passes and shit. I don't, you know what I mean?
I agree with you because they didn't. When I looked at it, I said, okay, the word develop was they either said it because they're like, we are gonna develop it, or they just knew they had to say it moving forward. So the future of Halo there's a question mark there because I don't want a bunch of like smaller games made by other companies. Like I want Microsoft to be the publisher, 343 is the developer, and you make another Halo Master Chief story. You continue it. That's what I want. With the multiplayer, I'm sorry, Voltaire, Slapadelic. A year ago, if you would have asked me, I would have been like, no. But to really save this multiplayer at this point, Battle Royale might need to come to the play here. I'm so serious because the tiers with the battle passes and stuff they have on there is just absolutely ridiculous. You should just pay the $10 and be able to use any cosmetic items. You're taking too long to like throw in new maps. I don't know why you're not having like vintage maps come in yet, like Valhalla and stuff like that. You're taking too long on the content that's coming there. Forge World is a massive hit, great, but it took a year and a half to come here. So I think Battle Royale
343, there's like 4 buttons that are all under like locked cases, and then someone has to go press them all at once, and the thing lights up. It says Battle Royale mode.
Battle Royale mode. I was so against it. I was so against it at first. And I think the funny thing is, I don't want to say I think Battle Royale. The reason why I want Battle Royale to stay away from Halo is because I think it's going to be bad. It's actually the opposite. I think this will be the best Battle Royale to come out, period. Call of Duty has a good one. Fortnite is just getting, I don't even know what the hell Fortnite is anymore. Like, it's just, you could skateboard in Fortnite. It's like Tony Hawk and stuff.
I remember, like, because the last time I played Halo was, not Halo, last time I played Fortnite was like, a few years ago now, I guess. Like 3 or 4 years ago. And it was pretty simple. They were just starting to introduce different costumes, like licensed costumes and stuff.
Right.
And like it was still mostly just people building just kind of like shitty little shacks and hiding in bushes
and
stuff,
shooting each other, right?
Yeah. And like I stopped playing when it started to be mostly people building like the freaking,
Empire State Building.
Yeah, people on the Death Star or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I can barely build but now I see commercials for it, and it's like there's the Ariana Grande performing at the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, and I'm like,
hey,
what?
I'm not gonna lie. Hey, the Travis Scott thing was cool. The Travis Scott thing was cool.
It is. It's a cool technology, and it's actually like a really good idea. It's just hilarious to me every time. Like Fortnite is just unrecognizable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And
completely.
It's like, and I saw somebody suggest that it could, evolve even further into like a sort of its own kind of VR chat. Like if they perfect like a VR version, like a VR compatible Fortnite, then it would just break open. It'll be the one and only like successful, like, quote unquote metaverse. If anyone
Right.
would pull it off, it would be them.
It would be
And I'm
Epic
just like,
Games.
Fortnite's standing there like, this isn't even my Final Four. You know what I mean?
I think Halo's Battle Royale, it would be so good, especially if you do it on the Zeta Halo. It had, I mean, Zeta Halo has like a vast terrain. It has, Rocky Mountains. It has lakes. It has all that, and it would just be the perfect setting for a Battle Royale.
Yeah, and I do think the mix of it being just the fact that Halo's the physics and the way that the multiplayer works,
Mm.
just I feel like just imagining it would lend itself really well to Battle Royale, especially on the more open world ish maps. Like you could section off like bigger maps using like the open world of Infinite. But and also like what we were talking about was how ridiculous Fortnite and like even PUBG to a lesser extent have gotten to just have like a people who just want to play battle royale games without all the like the Olympics going on or whatever. You know what I mean? Then yeah, I just
Yeah. I don't like saying that. I don't like having that opinion, but I mean, this is where the multiplayer is at this point. I do like still playing it. Like I love playing Slayer on it. Like it's comfort food for me. I like just jumping in Slayer 4v4. How good are you? Like I like doing that. There was a point I was really back into Halo, definitely playing like what is it called? I keep forgetting. I don't know.
Halo.
No,
Game's
not
called
no,
Halo.
no. I know the game's called Halo, but like jumping into like I can't think of it right now. Like where everybody gets ranked, like ranked games and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
jumping
yeah,
back into that, and I was getting ranked, and I was ranked really high. But yeah, that's the issue right now. Do I think 343 is going to officially stop making Halo games? I really think they would be ridiculous, and I don't think they're going to end up doing that. But it was a big scare for me
Yeah.
because
I
I
wouldn't
was
be
mad.
surprised to see Microsoft wind down more single player games because I feel like the way they look at it is for whatever sort of backwards in a lot of ways reasoning. They look at it as the single player was the part that was like the letdown, and they just need to focus on the multiplayer because that's what they feel like everyone
Mm.
likes more. Which is kind of sad to me because honestly, I really liked the campaign in Halo Infinite. I hadn't played a Halo game since like the 360, and I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really really
Right.
good,
I liked it
and
too.
so I would hope that they could it's Microsoft. They can bring in people
Mm.
from their other companies who are famously very good at writing story-based games. They could bring in some of the people that worked on Outer Worlds or
Mm.
whatever and make like a really cool narrative-based game in the Halo universe. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
seems like
I wouldn't.
Microsoft is down the middle. It does seem like
Yeah.
some of the games they are bringing out is that multiplayer base, and then a lot of other games they're bringing out is like they are those story-driven single-player games. They do have Fable
Mm-hmm.
that is in the works. But then they also have games like Redfall that is focused on multiplayer and teamwork and things like that. So,
And if Starfield ever actually comes out, then
we'll definitely talk about that here in a second. And your thoughts on Starfield because Microsoft's Xbox Developer Direct that's happening tomorrow. And I thought your comment was pretty funny. It was like, oh, for games that are already out, which was very funny because some of those games are out. Redfall isn't out. Redfall is that it's that vampire hunter game.
right. I don't
Looks
know why I
interesting.
thought it had already come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
You would think
yeah.
every Forza has come out at this point.
Right. Yeah.
So we're gonna hear about Redfall, Forza, and Minecraft news. There's like another adventure that's coming out with Minecraft.
They're finally announcing Minecraft 2.
Oh man, I thought about that the other day. I was like, "Where's Minecraft? Are they gonna make a Minecraft 2?" But Minecraft isn't that type of game. It isn't
It's like
that type of game.
platform. It sort of did what Fortnite's doing first,
Yeah. Yeah,
It's more of a
exactly.
platform than like one game.
I love Minecraft.
Yeah, me too. Actually.
Forza, we need to get on to play Minecraft, man. Have we done that before? Me and you've gotten on Minecraft? No.
No, I don't think I've ever done multiplayer Minecraft. Actually, I'm just going on there and sort of like a Zen garden type of deal.
Dude, you get on Minecraft with a friend. It is so fun.
I'm definitely down. Yeah.
Yeah. Forza Motorsport. That's exactly what it's called. It's coming out. It's
like a
beautiful. I guess you would say it's a reboot. It's just called Forza Motorsport. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
They're really focusing on like the Forza tech is like really focusing on like the particular like driving
Mm-hmm.
but like the weather patterns, how your car looks, it really focuses on that, and we'll know more about that game a little bit later. I'll be
I'm
on.
really enjoying the Forza games. Like ever
Hmm.
since I first got Game Pass, before I even had my Xbox, I got like a they did like an experimental cheaper thing of it just for PC for like a few months that I did when they were doing like a trial of it,
Yeah.
and then and that's what I played mostly was Forza Horizon, the one that was in the UK, you know,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
and then
Four,
the most recent one, the five, I think, right? It
five,
takes
yeah.
place in Mexico, and then
Hmm.
the regular Forza game that came out in between the two, and like they're all just great. They're just gameplay and cool music.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, they're some of my favorite racing games of recent years, honestly.
Definitely great racing experiences, especially in the fifth one. It's just beautiful world,
Hmm.
beautiful and fun activities, really fun activities. Um, so we'll get Redfall, we'll get some Forza news, we'll get some Minecraft news. Of course, what was announced was Starfield is actually getting its own showcase, so they're going to show off a lot, and I think
Okay.
this is going to be kind of like their media push. This is going to be the beginning of the media push. There is some rumors going around that there is another delay coming with this
So are they
showcase.
saying were they shooting for November this year, or when did they delay it to?
I think they delayed it. Let me look. I think when they it was originally supposed to come out November last year.
Yeah,
Because they were trying to do the Skyrim
I'm
thing.
wondering if they delayed it a whole year or just like a few months.
Yeah. Um goodness, and it's there's so many release dates that it's
Hmm.
hard to remember exactly when games like this are coming out because this is
And
very
some of those
important.
layoffs, the Microsoft layoffs, some of them did hit Bethesda. We don't know how many, and they don't seem to be as hit as hard as 343, but
Yeah.
that may have affected it.
Um when the hell is this game coming out? It's like it won't even tell me when. It's like we don't even want to say it.
Right now, yeah.
It
Don't
just
trip.
says it,
It
it
says release date. Don't trip.
yeah. It just says it's arriving in 2023.
Is it?
Is it though?
Is it though?
Todd Howard,
Thor
is
meme.
it
Is
though?
it though?
Um it's I would say maybe I bet you maybe September. There's just I can't find let me just put an actual release date. Yeah, even when you put in release date, it just says um 2023 yeah, it's just the first okay, so this is what I've heard. The first half of 2023. So
Okay.
this I think this showcase is going to tell us a lot because this is going to like I said this is going to be the beginning of its promo push. I think this is going to be the beginning of it. So you have this event, then you have like maybe like a promo trailer
Hmm.
or like an official announcement trailer that hits YouTube, that hits TV, and then you have a launch trailer. So it's going to go down the line here and I think we're going to learn a lot, but there could be a delay which would
Yeah.
push that back. Everything I just said, it would push that back. How do you feel before we're coming to the end of this podcast. So how do you feel about Starfield? Because
I mean,
we know a few things about the game. We've seen
yeah.
gameplay. How do you
Yeah.
overall feel of it? Do you think 1,000 planets? What's going on with
I,
that?
okay. Sorry. Yeah. I wanted to wait until I unfroze there.
Uh,
I think when I freeze for you, you freeze for me, and so whenever that happens, I just kind of go, okay, now.
it's
But
good.
so yeah, you're asking but just my general thoughts on Starfield and
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
My opinion hasn't really changed, in the like 27 years or however long it's been since they first announced it, and like it looks really cool. I'm actually a huge fan of Bethesda in their games as much as it is
Mhm.
fun and rewarding to make fun of them. Like I still am a big fan of their work, but and like a lot of people are like, oh, it's just gonna be Skyrim in space, and I'm like, I hope it is. Like,
I
I
think
love
I would
Skyrim.
love
Skyrim's
that.
one of my favorite games. That'd be great if it was Skyrim in space. Like, and so I think I would rather them to have a sort of like nebulous release date. Like it'll come out, at some point in time. I bet. I'd rather them do that
Hmm.
and then like keep putting the pressure on themselves and their employees to be like, oh, we got to get it out in 6 months. Oh, we got another 6 months today. People are going to be mad because then you have an increased risk of it being like like a Fallout 76 or like a Cyberpunk.
Yeah, kind of cyberpunk situation.
Good. And I want it to be good without the people who like do the actual grind work to like make the game.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to be able to like not have to like be treated like shit. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I want it to be able to be a good game that comes out whenever it's ready without having to put a bunch of crunch and all that kind of shit onto the employees.
Yeah.
And so that's basically my whole thing is like, again, I know I like to joke about it and everything, like it's a little dubious to imagine it coming out in the next like 4 months or whatever. But I mean that'd be great. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's the other hand of it is like we know they've been working on it for a long time,
Yeah.
so it's totally possible that it is nearly finished without having to do a bunch of crunch and on all that kind of stuff. And so who knows really? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I hope that um, it's able to come out in like in a timely manner and be as good as it can be. I get a little worried when I hear about um, I get a little worried when I hear about all the layoffs of Microsoft and stuff and how that might affect it. But who knows? I just want to play Skyrim in space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I want to do. I want to
I
play Skyrim in
completely
space.
agree. Completely agree with
And
you when you say, when people say Skyrim in space, they're trying to make it seem like it's a bad thing. No, that's an absolutely great thing.
it sounds awesome.
Yeah,
It
it
sounds
really
great.
does. I think with Starfield, when we first saw the gameplay, I actually thought it wasn't. I didn't think it was bad as people were saying. It looked like a game that still was in development. There was a lot of things that they had to tweak.
It was a proof of concept, and I thought it
Yeah.
looked as that. I thought it looked good.
Yeah, I definitely liked it. 1,000 planets. I did raise my eyebrow at that. I didn't know what that was about, but I guess we'll see. But I hope this is a good game because I think
I do
Bethesda
wonder about the 1,000 planets because didn't it say something like handcrafted?
procedurally generated is the word they used.
Right. So okay, they did
Yeah.
actually say that. It's like
No Man's Sky
surely
in it.
they're not. Yeah, because No Man's Sky has like 50 quadrillion planets or
Yeah,
something
it's like
insane like that.
way too many. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a lot.
and it's really cool that they were able to pull that off.
Mhm.
Eventually, they were able to pull that off.
And then put it
But
on Switch. That's crazy.
yeah, that's bananas. But but that's what that game does specifically. Like the RPG elements are, I think, well implemented, but it's not an RPG. It's not like what I mean. It isn't Sky. It doesn't have a Skyrim on top of all of that.
Right,
And
right.
I feel like even just doing 1,000 planets, it's gonna be interesting to see how they pull that off. Are you gonna be able to land? And then every planet's gonna be full of NPCs and like buildings and stuff. Or is it
Yeah,
just
I
all
would
gonna be
think
the
like
same radial missions over and over again.
I
Like,
bet
who
you
knows?
it's like 5 planets are like developed properly and they have quests that you should be doing, and then like the rest of them are just gonna be, I don't
Go
know,
get
maybe you
materials,
just kind of,
whatever.
I don't know. It's so much
Yeah.
in there, but that's what makes this exciting because I feel like Bethesda kind of, they did Skyrim and they did Oblivion and stuff like that, and they did the great Fallout games, but it's like then they did Fallout 76 and people really didn't, I don't know, they've kind of fallen out of favor with it, and I think they have to kind of get back into that space where no pun intended, they have to get back into that that space where people trust them again and people are really loving their games again ahead of a massive release of Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh, that's right. Jesus. Yeah. We're gonna be the real life is gonna look like Starfield by the time Elder Scrolls 6 comes out.
Dude, oh
We're gonna be living
man.
in space. But yeah, I mean, I think Bethesda needs to get a lot. They've ruined a lot of the trust that people had for them, and a lot of the recent stuff that happened that they did before they even got bought out by Microsoft. Like the whole debacle with the soundtrack from Doom Eternal and everything. I don't know if you've heard of. A lot of people don't think as highly of Bethesda or Todd Howard as they used to.
Yeah.
And it has something to do with them releasing a few games that were kind of shitty, to be honest. But then I think more so it has to do with people finding like kind of sort of the mask falling, similar to like CD Projekt Red, where they're like, oh, they're not this like sort of like the little guy finally made it sort of story. They're just a corporation like the rest of them. You know what I mean? And so, if they want people to start being like, yeah, Bethesda, they're great. I love them. Then they really gotta like show that they're not doing all the weird stuff with their workforce and stuff in the first place, and make sure that Starfield is like actually good.
Yeah.
When people play, that it's fun. We're not waiting 10 years to play some bullshit.
100%. Completely agree with that. Make sure you guys tune back in on the Soul Dojo on Friday. If you are watching for the first time or listening for the first time, make sure you guys hit that bell and subscribe, and it's gonna pop up on your telephone, your phone, your pager, whatever you got. And you're gonna be able to watch Voltaire's first video here on the Soul Dojo, which is Cults of the Lamb review. It's a great, awesome video. You can follow me, Callie from the Dojo, on Twitter. I'm also doing loads of stuff. If you go on my Twitter, I have my LinkedIn. I have my link tree that links everything that I'm doing, from Game Lusters, Sports Gamers Online, and what I do here on the Soul Dojo. Go ahead and tap in, Voltaire Slapadelic.
You got the video going up on Friday. I got at like you said, _Slapadelic on the Twitters. I got the stream my music. Just came out with an album on just before Christmas, and also there's not a lot of details just yet out, so I don't know exactly how much I can announce, but I am doing a show at the El Rio in San Francisco in
that's
March.
Awesome.
So
more stuff on that.
just out here, doing it. You know what I mean? Out here getting
it. Man, thank you for watching Dear Video Games on the Soul Dojo. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on Spotify, you can follow us right there.